Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Jonathan, and I'm sorry, but I was getting kicked off Facebook. My broadcast was not working. Um, I don't know. Oh, I just found out. I got a message that my previous video, which was for the kids of Althea, uh, was flagged as violating a song copyright, and so they are. This is like the fifth time Facebook is considering shutting me down. They previously closed my account because I spoke about the importance of interracial dialogue and healing the legacy of racism. It was flagged as a social comment, and they were unwilling to let it be posted without a deep investigation. That took me a couple weeks. Anyway, I guess I better play nice and not say anything bad about Facebook, or I will get shut down right in the middle of this message. But we're trying some new things today. So I'm standing, I'm moving, I'm actually going to put up a poster and draw things and talk and teach as we go through. So, it looks like we're going to be doing online events indefinitely. So 10:30 on Sundays, we will preserve the beauty and the integrity of our online gatherings, especially for all of those of you that are watching them live or later and have sent us such wonderful feedback. But we are also going to be starting to do some very carefully tested live in-person events. So the next one is going to be in the Althea building on the 23rd of August. It will be at 9:30. It's a 45-minute experience. We have 500 seats in our building. 40 seats will be occupied. We will have outdoor ventilation into the building. People will be wearing masks. We're going to do everything exactly to the highest medical recommendation. So if you're interested in being a part of that, please look online, our website, our newsletter, Facebook, and you can sign up for that. Now, I'm using my phone, and I'm getting messages from Susan here. So this is how Susan's telling me, hey, Jonathan, the sound's good, or Jonathan, no one can hear you, or whatever. So I am not close enough to the camera today that I'm going to be able to see any of your comments, but I do love like all the little bubbles and the thumbs and the hearts, and that's great. So please let your friends and Althea family know that you're out there, that you're with us. It's important to do these things together, and I'm very excited about today's message because I think it's really important for all of us. Frankly, I think it's really important for myself. Now, some other announcements quickly, and then we're going to get right into our special time together. So again, Sunday, August 23rd, RSVP only. You can do that on our Sunday page at the Althea website, and our schedule is also available on our website. So if you want to be with us in person, sign up. If you want to be with us online, same time, same place, except I'll be broadcasting from Althea. Suzanne Hunt is hosting a live free Introduction to Healing Meditations on Zoom. That's coming up. That will also be streaming live to Facebook. That's coming up Wednesday the 19th at 7 p.m. You can join in any format, Zoom or Facebook or psychically. New classes and programs are coming in September. I've got some really cool guests that I'm planning to bring either to Sunday services and to some other activities that we're going to do. I have two special guests from Africa. A singing group from Zimbabwe is going to be joining us soon, and we will be live on Zoom on a Sunday with you. And then also we have one of my favorite teachers of my life, an amazing man named Mandaza Kandemwa from Zimbabwe, and he is also going to be with us streaming live one day soon, as well as some other cool things. I've invited some of my mentors and teachers. Gene Thinelk will be coming with us live. Mark Samuel, the incredible business consultant, coach, and in my mind, spiritual teacher, he will be with us. So lots of really cool stuff. We're going to make this more interesting, more meaningful, and a little bit more exciting. So Please stay tuned. Also, save the dates. Mariposa, Althea's special program that celebrates and champions LGBTQ education and support, is collaborating with 13 other nonprofits, and they're hosting a 4-week series, September 8th to 29th, on Tuesdays, addressing immigration as an LGBTQ issue. Immigration as an LGBTQ issue, love across borders. Registration and details are available soon. Actually, I've been involved like a tiny little bit behind the scenes, and it's going to be super cool. And it's a very eye-opening, heart-opening, kind of mind-blowing topic. I'm not going to say any more about it than now, but definitely check it out. So if there's nothing else, I think we're going to just dive in. I'm going to look down here, see if Susan needs anything. I don't see anything. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, take a breath, and we are going to get centered and settle into our statement of being here. It's so cool that I can walk around. So I'm going to give myself a moment here. If you have a smudge in your home, a candle you wanted to light, any way you want to set the energy of our time together, now would be the time to do it. So sitting comfortably but alert. Just take a nice, deep, full breath in, and then hold it a moment as you just notice anywhere you're holding tension or tightness, and then breathe it out, let it go. Let your body soften and relax. On your next inhale, a little fuller, holding a little longer, and gathering a little deeper. Worries, anxiety, stress, more than the physical tension that you hold, but the emotional and the psychological tension that you hold. Breathing it out if you haven't already. Let it go long and slowly out, and continue like that. Big breath in. Hold a moment. Really long exhale. Feel yourself slowing down and settling down. Feeling a greater awareness of stillness and silence. And as we come in to this quiet place within us, we discover that we have arrived at the quiet place between us. Let us affirm in this moment that there is no distance between us, and truly there never has been. That when our eyes are closed, our minds are at peace, and our hearts are open, the world is as one. And anyone and anything that you've ever loved and lost is with you again. And anyone and anywhere that you wish to bless or love or heal is here in your hands, here in your heart. From this place we affirm the oneness of all. And so I'd like to affirm, to share our Althea statement of being, this beautiful affirmation, this prayerful confirmation of the nature of our universe that has been passed from one generation to the next, from one expression of the Althea community to the next, going back over 130 years to our founding circle of sisters. God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance, and we are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Staying with your breath, keeping your eyes closed, we settle our energy and awareness deeper still. Beyond the busyness of the mind, beyond the intensity of the heart, we settle our awareness into the invisible depths of our center, our soul, where all love and wisdom await us, and all life experience is only a reminder of the nature of being, the nature of balance and harmony, imbalance and discord. From this place together, we pray, each in our own way, and yet together as one. To the one that is all, divine light, divine love, divine trust, to the great mystery, the Spirit that we know as God. We give thanks for another day of life, another chance to learn and let go. We open our hearts today that much more to each other, to ourselves, and to a world seeking its balance. A prayer for all those in need, all those calling for help, crying for justice, all those who might feel or think themselves alone, to the old and the very young, to the ill and the broken. We send absolute, unconditional love and healing light. May there be a beautiful awakening in this world to the beauty of spirit beyond our knowing, beyond our simple, humble human story. May we each and all surrender our lives to the awakening of spirit within, that we might learn to live in faith, in trust, that the same magnificent force that has moved all of creation for billions of years, from the supernova to the hummingbird, may we know and trust that it lives in us. May we be blessed with the courage to let go of anything that stands in the way of that knowing, and may we embrace that knowing through the loving service of life, the loving service of each other and our own beautiful, delicate selves. From this place of absolute connection, boundless love, and profound knowing, we affirm peace, harmony, and hope for all beings everywhere. Amen. So, trust is the topic of the day. And I thought trust would be like a really, really amazing topic for us because it seems like trust is probably at the heart of most of the distress that people are feeling in the world today. When we see the record rates of anxiety, the record rates of calls coming in on suicide hotlines and domestic abuse hotlines, when we see the stress and struggle of parents who may have children at home for a whole school year, when we see economies turning upside down, when we see political division growing stronger and stronger, the true source of our despair and struggle amidst all this is actually a matter of trust. Now, it's a little weird because to say that kind of puts the topic back on you. In other words, it recognizes that we are co-creating our reality and our experience every day. And no matter how justifiable our anger, our blame, our fear, our anxiety, our worry may seem, the root of those experiences live inside ourselves. Now, this is not to say that we shouldn't all have full access to the full scope of human emotions and feelings. We should, we do, and we're going to. But what we're talking about today is a deeper understanding of that drama, that journey, so that we can experience the different facets and levels and aspects of trust, but quickly return to balance, quickly return to a capacity to choose and a greater sense of awareness and empowerment. The topic reminds me of a story. And this is a great, great story that I actually have never told at Althea. And this story takes place, guess when? I'm waiting for it. If you haven't been here before, sometimes this takes a while. I just wait until people start posting. When does the story take place? Where does the story take place? Come on, folks. Have you had your morning coffee? We're not getting anywhere without your answers. When does the story take place? Where does the story take place? I don't know. Susan, I'm coming here to look. Nope. Looks like nobody knows. No one trusts in the nature. Oh, I'm seeing some answers. Long, long time ago. Yes, long, long ago. Woohoo! See, this is interactive. If you're watching this later, you missed all this amazing fun, because this really was fun. Well, at least for me. Long, long ago, and far, far away in ancient India, there was said to be a sadhu, a guru, truly exceptional. Unusual in so many ways. He had no disciples. Nope. He wouldn't take on a student anytime, anywhere. He lived his life wandering as the sadhus do, meditating in the forests, traveling throughout the villages. He would sit and teach, and they said he was brilliant. He could convey the essence of the divine in a phrase, in a story. He could convey the complexity of the universe and our power to love through a look. An extraordinary teacher, but he never took a student. And there was a lot of speculation about why he never took a student. Now, some people say that it was because he didn't trust that any student would be able to carry the wisdom that he had to share, the precious treasure of his knowledge, and that in not wanting to spoil it or spread it poorly, he would not spread it at all. But there were other rumors that maybe this guru actually was extremely wealthy. Yes, for people noticed that he was often given generously by the people that came to his talks, and he traveled far and wide, and he always carried this bag with him. He didn't have a lot of possessions, that was obvious. A begging bowl, a staff, a simple garment, no books, no iPad, no crochet set, I don't know, whatever you think a guru might travel the world with, but a very heavy looking satchel. And every now and then people would swear they heard it clinking. Every now and then people would say he took the few coins that he gathered into the bank and exchanged it for gems. All kinds of strange stories about what was in that bag. But clearly there was something he didn't trust. Well, the story goes on, and the guru continued to travel the countryside, teaching brilliantly, going on retreat, changing lives, and yet always resisting the students. Until one day, this one student pursued him unlike any other. Day after day, village after village, and practice after practice for months. For months. This student was like a shadow to the guru. And then when the moment was right, every now and then, he would ask again and again, might I be your student, master? Would you teach me your ways, master? Until one day, the guru thought, okay, why don't we give this a shot? One student, step by step. We'll see how it goes. Well, there wasn't a lot of teaching of the student or instructing at first. No, in fact, the student had to continue to follow the master. And they would go to villages and they would sit under the trees teaching and so on and so forth. And sometimes they would be hosted in the homes of great families and wealthy people. One night, while they were settling in to sleep, after a great feast in the home of a wealthy landowner, the student said to the guru, "Dear master, I feel I have to tell you something that I'm ashamed of, but that you will still accept me as your student when I tell you what I've done." "Trust you?" said the guru. Trust is the essence of the relationship between a disciple and the guru. You must trust me. You must tell me the truth. If we don't trust in the truth, then how can we trust in spirit? How can we allow the nature of the one to unfold through us? We must trust in all things. Thought the student, remembering all the stories about the guru. Well, the student said, it's just that tonight, when we were at the home of the wealthy landowner and we had that beautiful dinner, at dessert they served us all that beautiful fruit. And my belly was full. I ate so much, but I took the fruit. And when people weren't looking, I filled my pockets. I filled my bag with fruit. And I have this fruit that really, it wasn't meant to leave. I feel like it wasn't right. I'd like to take it back. Wow, thought the guru, this is quite an ethic. What a fine young person. But the guru said, really, I think that they meant to be kind and generous to us. And, I don't think taking some fruit is that big a deal in the cosmic scheme of things. I think you should just let it go. But the student insisted, no, I must be pure. I must be true to the path. If I can't be trusted with simple things, what could I be trusted with? I really think I should take it back and apologize. Okay, suit yourself, says the guru. I'm going to sleep, and if you want to run down the road and go back to the village, I guess that's up to you. You have my blessing. So sure enough, the student goes and knocks on the door and gives back the fruit and explains it. And sure enough, they didn't really care. But you get the idea. The student felt that he had to do the absolute right thing and went back to the side of the guru where they slept through the night. And as the next few days passed, the guru was quite impressed by the character of this young disciple and thought, there's something different here. And sure enough, that day, the guru offered something different. I'm going down to the river to bathe. And normally I take the few things that I have with me, my satchel, my begging bowl, my staff. But I'd like to leave them with you if you would just guard them while I go wash, and then I'll be back shortly. Well, as you may have guessed by now, the satchel was in fact filled with gold and gems. In fact, every time the guru collected alms enough to fill the satchel, he would take them and trade them for very precious things so that handfuls of alms could be reduced to gold and gems. The satchel was worth a fortune. And off the guru went down to the river, and there the disciple waited. Until the guru came back to find the disciple and his satchel of gold and gems missing. And they never returned again. Did you see that coming? What a story. I love this story when we think about trust. You've got to turn this story over in your mind again and again and again. First of all, the characters are amazing. And second of all, the very idea of this guru that is so wise and so powerful, but so mistrusting, right? It's like the opposite quality we would expect in a guru, and yet, isn't that what we see in the world? Not only spiritual teachers that have selfish or materialistic goals, but all kinds of people whose lives and roles are to be of service. Parents, politicians, teachers, in fact, even simply as family members on this earth. Humanity, we often espouse, like the guru, these great teachings about how we want the world to be, but we don't demonstrate it. We're not willing to take the risk, not with our own money, not with our own lives, not with our own families. Oh, we'll support the empowerment of races and cultures and genders as long as we don't have to give anything up. It's actually an old adage in the world of healing and change, something that I have observed and participated in many organizations and communities, which is the idea that everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants to change. And why is that? Well, we can analyze it and psychoanalyze it, and we can color the stories of our lives brilliantly until we have all kinds of explanations why we don't do what we could do, what we should do, what we say we'll do, why we're not authentic inside and out, why we're not congruent. But it boils down to trust. Do we trust other people with our hearts? Do we trust other people with our dignity? Do we trust other people with our comfort? Do we trust that we will be loved no matter what? Do we trust that if we show up honestly and vulnerably, we'll still be liked, that we will still survive to the end of the day? But the story goes on, because just as we have this guru who has this great wisdom and this great facade, or this one level of being that is clearly so wise, there's this other level that's clearly very different. And I think that is very much a matter of trust. I think that is very much a reflection of a struggle that most of us have. But then we get this extra layer. It gets juicy because finally the guru, who has such mistrust, right or wrong, decides to let someone in to his world. And the same thing happens for you, for me. Should I take a risk and give more? Should I give more of myself to this relationship, to this job, to this problem, to these people, to my family, to whatever? Should I let something or someone else in? Should I allow myself to be vulnerable? And so we wait. We wait for perfect conditions, sometimes years, until we love again, until we trust again, until we are vulnerable again, take risks again. And the story, it's so good, because what we would love to see is something like the student proves themselves so trustworthy and the guru gives the student the gold. Or the student proves so trustworthy and the guru is humbled and decides to give the gold away. There's so many ways the story could have gone, but in the end, the guru gets screwed. And what does it mean? What does it mean that you've been betrayed? What does it mean that you've been hurt? What does it mean that people didn't do what you wanted or say what you wanted? Now, to be clear, right now we're talking about what does it mean, not how does it feel. You see, in our culture, we have confused these two, basically by obliterating the importance of feelings. Feelings and thoughts are two very different dimensions of who we are. They're both important, they're interconnected, but they're different. So if you were to say to me, to be betrayed is horrible, painful, sad, to be oppressed, violated, whatever horrors you or people you know may have endured, to say that it's awful and a horrible, terrible pain and suffering, I would say, yes. No one can take that from you. That is absolutely true. But what does it mean? That's a different question. Does it mean that you are permanently broken? Does it mean that you should be ashamed for the rest of your life? Does it mean that you should not trust because it's going to happen again? You see, none of those things are necessarily true, and in many cases, none of those things make any sense. Sometimes yes, usually no. At the heart of this brokenness in our world, in our lives, is the trust in life that we feel has been broken. And to understand how that gets broken and how to reclaim it, how to live from a deeper place of abiding trust that lifts us beyond all pain and all suffering, or helps us to live with all pain and all suffering, I want to share a little something. And guess what? Because now I'm mobile, I'm going to take some tape. Look at me. We're going to do this. Hopefully this is a little more interesting than what we've done before. Look, big pieces of tape. I have paper. Da, da, da. And I am going to put this up to illustrate something. Now I could say it without the board, but you know what? It's just fun because I can do it. Now, what I want you to understand is that to truly appreciate the nature of trust, we have to go back to the 3 dimensions of self. Remember that? Now, if you're new to Althea, you're probably going to have to go looking for another video by me that I believe is on the Althea YouTube page. It's on my own YouTube page. It's in my video library, and it's called The 3 Channels of Being. Okay? The idea is that every single one of us, and I think you can see this from where you are. I'm not really sure I want to move the camera because I think it's amazing that I've come this far with a microphone and I'm standing and I actually have a light. High quality stuff here, folks. But the basic idea is that as a human being, as a spiritual being in the human world, there are always 3 dimensions to who we are. So the outermost layer I call the conditional self. Now, I'm going to just draw this as a very bold square so that you can see it. And if for some reason the camera has inverted the frame, which it usually does on Facebook, it won't have writing that's backwards. If you want to see what that looks like, that's what it looks like. Backwards. So we all have an outer layer that is what I would call the conditional self. It's a self that was built on conditions, circumstances, episodes, traumas, family environment. It's the nurture part of who we are, the way we've been shaped by our upbringing, our formative years, and so on. And some of that reflects the truth of who we are. Some of it is in harmony with our authentic self, our soul, our true self, but a lot of it is learned to cope, to survive, to strategize. The next layer we have here is it's the soul, right? I have no idea how to write. No, I was going to try to write soul backwards for you. I think I did it. I think I just wrote soul backwards. Wow, that's pretty cool. Pays to have dyslexia sometimes. So the second layer of who you are is your soul. That's your true self, your authentic self, who you were born to be, who you exhibited yourself to be when you were just a year old, 3 years old, 4 years old, and so on, before life and conditions started to change what you expressed. The soul travels through lifetimes, travels beyond this life. When we die, the conditional self vaporizes and is but a memory in photos and stories, but the soul carries on. The soul is its own packet of energy. It is the individualized manifestation of spirit, and it's distinctly you. And then, at the heart of it all, we have, I think I just wrote God backwards. Did I do that? Oh my gosh. Maybe I should just write backwards all the time. At the center of the model, we have spirit, source, your origin. And that is the part that you can access in your life through consciousness, through meditation, through deep, deep connection and spiritual experience that is universal. So actually, my words for these are conditional, essential, and universal. Conditional, essential, and universal. 3 parts to who you are. Now, here's what's important. Each layer has a different way of relating to the world, different language, different priorities, and guess what? A different relationship to trust. You see, the conditional experience of trust is contractual. It's like an exchange. It's like a contract. It's like a commodity. I'll give you some trust if you give me something else. So a guy has to come and fix my pipes. I'm going to trust the company and leave the key under the mat. They're going to do the work and promise they're not going to mess with anything in the house. I'm going to do this job. You're going to give me access to the building and trust I won't steal anything, but I'm going to trust that you're going to pay me. So it's very transactional. You got that? The outer level of trust is conditional, situational, transactional, and totally reasonable. Okay? There's no reason why that level of trust shouldn't be a real thing in this world. You shouldn't invite the plumber that comes to do whatever they want in your house. That's just foolish, unless you don't care what happens to your house. But check this out. Let's jump to the universal. At the universal level, we see all things as one thing. We know that all things are in spirit. We are in spirit. Spirit's not just in us. We are in spirit. Everything and everyone is in spirit, so nothing can be lost. Nothing can be taken. Even the potency of good and evil dissolve, because in the oneness of spirit, all things are held in the heart of God, or spirit, or consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the tricky part. The soul is the aspect of being that exists between those two realms. The soul comes from an intimate connection with the universe, with the universal, with spirit, into a conditional setting, and then has the struggle of relating conditionally and universally. And it doesn't feel safe to relate universally. So check this out. Oh, I just realized I need a new piece of paper, and I don't know if I can do this fast enough, but let's see. The struggle that most of you have when it comes to trust looks like this. Ready? This is the conditional self. This is the universal self. They're separate. God, spirit, the spirit world is beyond this world. Yes, it's in it, but it's also beyond it. Even 4 billion years on this planet, 13 billion years as a universe, in the scope of an infinite consciousness is the blink of an eye. Spirit, matter. But the essence, the soul, exists at the intersection of the visible and the invisible, spirit and matter. And the trouble is, if we aren't told this at a young age, if we don't understand this and appreciate this and integrate this, then guess what? We mix consciousness and energy and suffer. And when it comes to trust, this is probably the most universal and most painful problem, which is that we engage conditional realities with the subconscious impulse towards a universal experience. We engage conditional realities with the subconscious impulse to experience the universal. We come from the universal. We want the universal again. But what that means is that the third type of trust, so we have 1, we have 2, and here we have 3. The third type of trust is essential trust, soulful trust. But guess what? That's where we get hurt the most. Because what we do is we go to a business, a relationship, a family, or even ourselves, all conditional things, and we want to trust it the way we can trust spirit. unconditionally about everything, always. And so with all that love, with all that vulnerability, with all that human offering that really is only matched by Spirit, we misplace it and we give it to people, places, and things that break it. And that is the way it is. Why? Because they're living the same puzzle. They too are infinite beings in conditional settings, mixing the subconscious impulses of the two worlds. And so, of course, we can't always get it right. You're going to be betrayed. Leaders are going to fail. Your family member is not going to see you, validate you, honor you the way you want all the time. That's not the place to look for that. The only thing you can really trust in the conditional realm is that it's going to stay conditional, because that's what it is. That's its nature. And the sooner that you trust that it's okay, that the conditional realm remains conditional, the sooner you can move your infinite trust, your universal trust, your expansive, healing, rewarding trust where it belongs, which is in relationship with life itself, with Spirit. But anything less drives us towards judgment, control, opposition, fear. Because as long as we're feeling the longing for the universal, but looking for it in the conditional, with trust somehow as the mechanism to carry us through, it ain't going to happen. It can happen for a little while, but it won't happen for long. I promise you. You've got to move your trust to a deeper level, a higher level. In any situation that you struggle with, ask yourself, where does your trust lie? Where was your trust broken? Because if you've moved it into the transcendent, then you move your trust to a place that can never be broken and never be betrayed. Because the trust there is in that which holds all things. The trust there is in that which accepts all things. The trust there is a trust that is healing to experience and has nothing to do with conditional realities and what you get out of it. You don't trust because someone earned it. You trust because that is the feeling of Spirit inside you. You don't trust because you want something. You don't trust because you finally feel safe. You trust because you know that everything is God, even the shitty stuff. I said that. And you trust that it's okay that sometimes it's hard and sometimes we don't have answers. And because Spirit is present in the conditional world through our authentic selves, then you can trust that no matter what happens, healing is possible, hope is possible, balance is possible, fixing, curing, being rich. I don't know about all that. I don't know if that's really possible for everyone. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't matter. The true nature of trust, the healing nature of trust, is experienced when we realized that there is nothing to trust except Spirit itself. And in that dissolving, all of the minor trusts of life are released of their power over us. Because by staying rooted in Spirit, by placing our primary, maybe only trust in Spirit, it allows us to see clearly the illusion of power and safety in anything. These are all fleeting conditional things. And the world that we live in now is making this more apparent than ever. Stay centered in spirit. Embrace sacred trust, divine trust, trust in life. Know that all the other contracts and agreements within are truly just our best efforts to marry soul and situation and see what happens. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if it works out the way we wanted. It matters if we learn, if we open our hearts, and we return to the surrender of spirit. So we have to stop there. Our time is up. But I really liked sharing this with you. And let us know if you liked a different kind of talk and presentation today. We're going to close with a little blessing in a moment, but I want to thank you for being here, for listening to this, for engaging this, for sharing this. If you liked it, make sure other people see it. Don't forget, we live by donations, and there's no other way around it. Althea is the community. It's you. And so whether it's $5 or $500, the only way we keep our building, we pay our staff, we continue to serve the world and offer a kind of sanctuary of the Spirit is really by your kindness. So whether you're volunteering or giving money or maybe helping in other ways, spreading the word about Althea, thank you. Thank you from me, thank you from the board, thank you from all the staff. It's an honor that we can do this, and we want to keep doing this in the year to come. So please, do what you can. And remember, stay connected, because cool things are coming. We're going to have guest speakers on some of the Sundays. We're going to have new programs coming up. Go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, check Facebook. We are still very much a community, and we need you. We need your presence. And being a part of the live events is a real healing gift to the other people present, more than you know, more than watching it later, which is nice. Susan and I can check the numbers and, 100 people saw this and 200 people saw that. But to be here together live and know that every one of you is exploring the same thing in the same moment, sending the same prayer in the same moment, is a powerful gift that you're giving. So, to close, I invite you to shut your eyes and take a breath. And give yourself a moment to feel where your trust lives. Give yourself a moment to question the nature of your trust and the expectations you have about it. And how might you move your experience of trust deeper? For this great work, we pray to the one that is all, to the one Spirit, the universal, to life itself, with gratitude and humility for another day to live, love, learn, and let go. Blessings for our community, for each other, for all communities. Prayers for the restoration of balance, the experience of wholeness, and the blossoming of love and interconnection in this world. A prayer of grace and harmony in the hearts of all beings everywhere. Amen. Anne Hillman, author and lecturer, offers this simple passage which we will close with. We look with uncertainty beyond the old choices, cut answers to a softer, more permeable aliveness, which is every moment at the brink of death. For something new is being born in us, if we but let it. We stand at a new doorway, awaiting that which comes, daring to be fully human, vulnerable to the beauty of existence, and learning to love. So thank you, and thank you for trusting me. We'll see you soon.